Greetings everyone, DFG here, Gideon's Flight. Hey guys, just want to take a moment and just talk to you about a subject that, I haven't spoken about, for a minute. And that is preparation and understanding of what's going on with the global economy today. But before I get into some of the global things that you should be thinking about, I just want to talk about some domestic things that are happening. In I.E., for example, I saw a video today, and this particular content creator, I'm not going to use his name because I don't think it matters to him if I use his name or not. But he was videoing inside of a supermarket, and he was showing the counters and how many empty shelves were on those counters: canned goods, potatoes, things like that, boxed potatoes. Not fresh product, but just preserved product that typically you would buy and that you would store and put away for a period of time. Things that typically you have to get imported into the country from other countries. And how sparingly those things were on the counter. And I bring that to your attention because with the floods that are going on, all throughout the Midwest United States, with the fires up in the West United States, also the droughts down in the southern parts of the United States, and all of the recent events that most of you guys are fully aware of right now, I say to you again, please don't get caught not being prepared for a food shortage. Yes, a food shortage. Because it's coming. There's no way. I was looking at a map, and it was not a map, but it's a graph. And what this graph does, it shows you what production should be this time of year versus what production actually was this time of year. And I think the things that they were talking about was like wheat, corn, how that normally this time of year they would typically be at somewhere like 75% in production. Right now they're at 30%. And then they were showing like the means of and the means of a thing is just how they track based off of where it should be based off an estimation. So if somebody tell you something about means is just another word for estimate. So this is what you're estimating, and based off of the estimation versus the things that are already planted. And let me go back. Things that were planted based off of what should be planted versus what actually had been planted is 30% when it should be somewhere in the high 70s year to date. And then the means as far as things that would allow, the things that are in the ground already in terms of how they're producing. And it sounds like I'm saying the same thing and I realize it, but I'm not. The 75% is what's already pulled. I'm sorry. That's already in the market. That's 30% of the 75%. And the means is what's based off their best guess how they'll finish up the year. And where they should be somewhere at 80%. Right now they're at 30%. So excuse my little, correction there. And all it does, and all it's saying to all of us is that, if you're not prepared by the end of the summer for a hard fall season, a hard winter season, you may be in a situation where you're standing in food pantry lines all over the country just trying to make sure you have enough food to feed yourself and to feed your families. So, don't, be like, many people, will be caught unprepared. The warning signs are there. We have a stock market that's a bubble, that we're being led to believe that somehow or another the economy is great based off of what the stock market is doing. But the stock market can fluctuate based off of stock buybacks and other influence indicators that have nothing to do with the true economy. In other words, the everyday middle class American, how you're doing. And for the most part, I think you can all admit that you're not doing, very well right now. And just another indicator is the job market. As far as business is concerned, this year is estimated in the United States, 12,000 retailers will close. 12,000. Now, 12,000 may not sound like a big number if you're just thinking in terms of the businesses, which it is a big number. So, but sometimes you say 12,000, people just see 12,000. They don't understand that these businesses are employing hundreds of thousands. Maybe 12,000 businesses could really be employing 1 million people or more. And all those people are going to be faced, who had jobs last year, not going to have jobs by the end of this year. So you've got a food shortage, you have a work shortage, and then you have all the other elements that you're dealing with in terms of what's happening, with the crises that are going on around the world as well. And I'm talking about a situation where Turkey now has just bought missile defense weapons that United States did not want them to have. The situation that's going on in Iran, which is being, in my opinion, inflated to be provocative, to start some type of war with Iran, because at the end of the day, it's all about that black gold, Texas tea, as the Clampets used to call it, if you're old enough to remember the Beverly Hillbillies. In other words, it's all about petroleum, and how that petroleum in Iran is going to be sold. And Iran is taking a position that they're not going to, trade in U.S. currencies. So that is a major problem for the United States, because if one country starts to do it, especially a major player like Iran, who's going to follow? So this is really not about them developing a nuclear weapon as much as them becoming sovereign or independent of United States and of its mainly its currency, and also breaking away from the United States being able to more or less have control, over that region, of the world. So again, just a quick update, just to share some observations, some things that you should be thinking about. Again, with food, you need to have water. You can go, months without food, but you can go only days without water. So make sure you have your water stored as well. And then in the worst case scenario, make sure you have all your medical supplies and things of that nature for survival purposes, okay? And that includes weaponry. And we've talked about, that before. You need to have, ways to protect yourself and protect your family, transportation if necessary. I don't know how effective transportation will be in a last-minute crisis type of situation, but make sure your gas tanks is full and you have gas reserve if you have generators and things of that nature. That'll probably keep you going for a few days, but the bandits and and the robbers and the thieves, they're gonna be coming into your community soon enough anyway. So so at that point, it's just really gonna come down to survival of the fittest. I don't say that to scare you or to tell you don't do anything. I'm just saying that to you. Now it's time for you to start thinking about what you can do and what you should do, and aligning yourself up with like-minded people so that in a crisis you have some chance of surviving. And I will tell you also too, put away your petty differences. Now I'm not talking about the bigger picture. I'm talking about the politics and racism and reparations and things of that nature. That's a fight that we're not giving up, and we need to stay on track for that fight. But that doesn't mean that we can't, as they were saying, walk and chew gum at the same time. Right now I'm talking about, the walking aspects of it. Making sure that you put away the petty, divisions that may be among you. And I'm talking about whether it's relationship-wise, family-wise, neighbor-wise, that you need to put that stuff to the side right now, guys, and just, and start to establish some form of trust with those people, and even giving them a level of tolerance too. Because in a day of calamity, they will be the people that you're going to have to turn to, and you want to have established relationships with those individuals so that you don't interrupt their plan. You're just a part of their plan. Okay. So anyway, just a little information, just some things for you to think about based off some observations and things that are going on currently, both domestically and globally, and things that I think you should know. So thank you for listening. DFG, Gideon's Flight. Hit the subscription button, share the video. I would appreciate it. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye now.